What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. In this one, we will be flying the Finnish Air Force Hornet demonstration. More specifically, this will be based on the 2019 Royal International Air Tattoo display by the Finnish Air Force in their F-18. Why are we doing it? Well, actually just because I think it's freaking amazing. It's like the best Hornet demo that there has ever been on planet Earth, and I think it blows all the other ones, the Swiss one and all the US Superbug demos. I think it clean out the water. I think it is amazing. Now, I have analyzed the videos that they have of this demo, and thankfully there's a really good video that shows you the inside of the aircraft, and you can see everything kind of like from the pilot perspective for a lot of it. So there's a lot of stuff that we can see. No, we can't make out the exact speeds and everything and altitudes that he's flying, but we can make some guesstimations, which is what I've done, and I have written out all these maneuvers, and you'll see that on the left hand side. So some of you might look like hieroglyphs. It's not. I've tried to use the Aresti system, which is usually used to depict aerobatic maneuvers for competition flying. Now, some of you that know the Aresti system will look at it and tell me that actually I haven't drawn it out correctly. I know I've done it on purpose because for display flying, it's not quite as black and white as it is for competitions, i.e. the maneuvers are not like on vertical or horizontal or 45-degree lines, and the transitions between maneuvers, as you might imagine in air shows, is a big deal. And you know, it's not really about the precision flying of each maneuver. It's more like how do you display an aircraft and all the cool badassness that it can generate, right? So for that, I've got some cues in that little diagram there with the Aresti symbols to tell me kind of, so I can remember what the transitions are between maneuvers, etc. So that's why that is. But I understand that it's kind of like a bit of a dog's dinner in terms of you know, actually writing out the symbols. Now, the best thing about the Finnish Hornet demo is that they really show off the amazing capabilities of the Hornet in terms of its high alpha, being able to basically have that crazy nose authority, and all that vapor coming off the leading edges of the wings. I mean, I think they've absolutely nailed that. I mean, if I was going to fly Hornet demo, it's exactly how I would do it. So in this video, we will be trying to replicate that, and it'll be a bit of a challenge. We are going to be using essentially a 300-foot deck, so we've set the radial altimeter to 290 feet. Now, we're actually going to be aiming probably for about 400 to 500 for doing these maneuvers, but we know 300 is like the absolute deck. Otherwise, we need to go speak to the airshow boss, who's not going to be very happy if we break those rules. Then you'll see I'll play the clips of the Hornet demo that this Finnish guy is doing side by side next to my maneuvers. We'll see how closely we can replicate them in DCS, and I think we can get them pretty close. You'll see after he takes off, he takes an offset off to one side and basically stays on that side of the runway consistently. I guess that's to have a minimum distance between the crowd line and the aircraft, you know, doing its display. So he, I think, uses a taxiway next to the runway as a reference point, which we don't have here, but we have a road next to this airfield here in Lebanon, and we will be using that as a reference. Apart from that, I think I won't dwell on all the bits and bobs that are in my head, because I have some speeds that I'm going to hit, some gates that I need to hit for these various maneuvers, and I'll talk you through them as we go along. We have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect the headset. We'll see you on the left with the pin. Thanks a lot. What do we need? Well, we've set the radio altimeter to 290 feet. We've got the radio altimeter selected for the HUD. We have flaps set to half, which we need for takeoff, and we've set a nose down trim or nose up trim to 0. Why 0? Because it's a little bit easier doing the low transition as you take off, like this guy does. So I don't know what he's using, of course, but we're just gonna make do with our interpretation, and my interpretation is that's how it's done. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a little flight control check. Make sure everything is free and correct. Everything is moving beautifully. Yeah, I think let's rock and roll. The other thing to remember is the runway heading here is 059 roughly. Reciprocal heading for the other way is going to be 239. So that's something we're going to have to keep in mind for doing some of these maneuvers, so that we are, because we're not going to be directly over the runway, we're going to be slightly offset, so that's something that is going to be a helpful cue. Alright, let's throttle up, get going, cancel that master caution. Thinks we're going to run out of fuel, which we won't. Full burner, here we go. Pull back on the stick. Let the aircraft rotate. Gear up, flaps up, take the offset. Now we're looking for 250 knots, wings level. 250 knots, there it is, pull back. Get the vapor off the wings, pull up to about 70 degrees, keep it there, keep it there, keep it there, keep it there. Nose down. I think in real life the Hornet has a bit more nose down authority potentially, but this is good enough. Kill the throttle, pull back, and now we transition into sort of a stall turn. Lots of right rudder, get back on the throttle. Just set ourselves up for the inverted pass. So we're using this road off to the left as our reference. Roll inverted.
Alright.
Ah, shut up, lady. Get out of burner. Ease off. Roll. Full burner. Pull. Get to the 90. Roll. Pull. Get out of burner. Max dry. Aiming for show center. Now we're going to transition 45-degree outline from the runway to essentially into a high alpha barrel roll. So here we go, full burner. Pull, 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 pull. Start the high alpha roll. Now he was about 150 knots as he did this in the video, so we should get pretty close, I think. There we go. Just about 150, so that was pretty good. Okay, about 45 degrees off to the runway, looks perfect. Roll left. Set ourselves up for the next maneuver, which is going to be a pass. And in front of, just before show center, we need to do another abrupt pull into the vertical, or almost into the vertical. We'll aim for about 80 degrees or so. We're aiming for about 350 knots to start this. Pull. So there's 350. That's our gate just before show center. Max thrust. There we go, 80 degrees. And we push down again, nose forward. Nose forward, nose forward, nose forward. Okay, full burner. Now from this point we do a little mini loop. So again, that's just gonna be just not full backstick, because otherwise we're gonna stall. So we need to try and keep it going. Now over here, we're gonna delay it. Essentially gonna go into what's like a bit of a spiral. Just ease off the throttle, just get back to show center there. Looks pretty good. Pull. And then we essentially transition this into like a sort of spiral, almost like a stalled spiral. Use a little bit of left rudder to help us along. And now we transition into a horizontal 360 turn, sort of like a min radius turn, but it's not really fully min radius, but we want some vapor coming off the wings, which is the name of the game. So go into burner, front of show center, aiming for about 400 feet or so here. Got vapor coming off the wings for the crowd, which is the way it's done. Keep it coming around, keep it coming around, keep it coming around, and we're going to transition into a vertical, still pulling back on the stick here as we get to our reference point. Right, transition into a sort of vertical and then into a barrel roll. Shouldn't have said vertical, it was more like a 45-degree upline. Right, now we're going to set ourselves up for the next maneuver here, which is going to be a pass with an aileron roll down the middle. So get into burner. Use that offset to the right of the runway here. 059 is the heading. Here we are, 500 feet's good, out of burner, in front of show center, aileron roll, and now straight into burner, pull into about a 70-degree upline, roll inverted, keep that attitude, keep that attitude, keep that attitude. 5,000 feet is what we're looking for, that's our gate. Now we pull, do a half Cuban. Ease off the throttle, ease off the throttle. In front of the crowd line, we go transition into a vertical pull again. So here we are, looking good. Full throttle. It's looking good. It's looking good. Into the 90, there it is. And now we pull back abruptly, get about 30 degrees attitude. There we are. Front of show center, abruptly pull back. It's pretty close, we're slightly offset. Quarter roll to the left. Off the throttle, 90 degrees to the runway, so we're now perpendicular, and we're looking for a half Cuban again. Back on the thrust. Get the vapor off the wings. Okay, it's looking okay. It's looking okay. Delay that roll. There we go. And then left. Now we bring it round for what is going to be a high alpha pass. Probably the most challenging maneuver of this whole thing. So we'll be looking for about 95 knots. About 95 knots and about 500 feet-ish. So 059 is the heading of the runway. That's what we need. Just slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. So I didn't really calculate this very well here. I could have had some better energy management. We're also too high, which is not good. Right. Well, we are getting there. Just looking about 15 degrees here for the attitude as a reference point. 500 feet's good. There we go. There we go. Right. Good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Right. Full thrust again. Unload a little bit. Unload. And now we transition to another half Cuban. This Finnish pilot seems to be a big fan of half Cubans for his transitions. Alright, let's go. Got plenty of thrust to weight here, since the aircraft is light. So yeah, that high alpha pass could have been done better. I didn't set myself up. I was a little bit too fast coming in. But that's fine. And as always, what this guy really likes to do is he transitions his half Cubans into a vertical. So let's go into the vertical. Alright, let's go right thrust again. Pull into the 90. There we are. And here we are going to be essentially doing kind of like a, I don't know how to call it, kind of like a, sort of like a stall turn, but not really. So let's pull back, and then we roll, but we also sort of stall the plane like that. Lots of left rudder, lots of left rudder. So that is looking pretty beautiful. Right, center it there. That's good, get off the throttle. Once again, quarter roll to the left, 90 degrees offset to the runway. There we go. Now transition this into a chandelle. So again, off the throttle, lots of vapor off the wings, lots of right rudder. Perfect. That's pretty good. And finally, we transition this into a 45-degree outline from the runway with a high alpha barrel roll, and then set ourselves up for landing. So here we go, start rolling, get looking for 150 knots down as we make the roll there. That is perfect. Should be about 45 degrees. Yeah, perfect. We are 45 degrees off the runway, almost. Maybe a little too much, but that's fine. Right, landing time. Gear down. Flaps down. Set up the E bracket for the AOA. Let the speed bleed off. So it should work out quite nicely. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Finnish Hornet Demo, or as close as I could get it. I'd be interested to compare once we put all the maneuvers side by side, just to see how we got it. I think we got it pretty close. I think the high alpha pass was a bit rubbish in this one. Some of my other attempts were a bit more accurate, but I didn't film them, so. But anyway, you know, it was a good challenge. It's a good challenge. I love display flying. It's just awesome. The only thing is you don't really enjoy the scenery because you're so concentrated on nailing your gates and maneuvers. And just for reference, I'm not really a like real, you know, fighter pilot or a demo pilot. Just your regular old airline pilot who does a bit of aerobatics here and there. But I just love this kind of stuff. Like, man, really, really want to fly displays in real life one day. So here we are. Come on, don't float. There we go. Speed brakes out, and see if we can make the first exit. I think we might miss it. Yeah, I think we're gonna miss it. Come on. Ooh, maybe, maybe, maybe. Ooh, this is gonna be well calculated. This is perfect. Wow. Wow. Time to perfection. That is awesome. Right, speed brakes coming in, flaps are up, clean that up. Sweet! Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can call it a successful demo. I don't think I busted the 300 feet. Hard deck. I don't think I've done anything dangerous. I think the aircraft was under control. I think we got loads of vapor coming off the wings. We've got those crazy AOA angles. Yeah, this is just such a cool demo. Anyway, I don't know if any of you will be interested or enjoy this, but I certainly have enjoyed doing it, and you know, took a lot of practice trying to do all the maneuvers. And I apologize, but my nose is itchy. If you guys know of any other cool demos on YouTube where you can see more or less the entire demo from the cockpit view, I know there's a couple of the F-16, which I don't have unfortunately in DCS due to my OCD, because my stick is in between my legs, not on the side, like a side stick for the F-16, which I just have a hard time accepting that I can fly the side stick without having the side stick, if that makes sense. But also you'll notice that this is not a Finnish Hornet that I'm flying. This is a Finnish Hornet in front of us. The one I'm flying is not a Finnish Hornet. The one I'm flying is actually US Navy Hornet, because the Finnish ones have this funky cool UFC from Superbug, I think, which we don't have here, and that would be unrealistic. God, my nose is so itchy. Anyway, if there's any demos that you guys know of on YouTube which have the cool cockpit view, where you can tell what's going on in the aircraft, that would be super interesting if you could link them down below, because if we can replicate something like that in DCS, it doesn't even have to be the same aircraft. I mean, we can fly, you know, if there's a JAS 39 Gripen video, which there is a good one, you know, we can try and do that in the Mirage or something similar, just to see what it's like. But if you guys know of anything, something really cool, maybe an F-14 that there's a cockpit view, which I don't think there will be, but if there is, that'd be really super interesting to see, because I would love to try and, you know, replicate it, because it's always a great challenge trying to fly these displays like they would, you know, in real life. So yeah, with that said, oh, my nose is actually gonna kill me. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, with that said, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, please make sure to obliterate the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That would be extremely helpful. And please consider subscribing for future DCS content and real flying content, real aerobatics coming soon, I hope. And perhaps some Boeing 737 stuff. So, if you're interested, subscribe, hit the little notification bell not to miss anything, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.